Good morning. Today is Monday, June 15th. Now, I didn't record over the weekend, so I encourage you to go to my blog, unapologeticallyamber.com, and read my two blog posts about summer budgeting and how joy can be productive. So, let's get into not having everything figured out today. Many of us move through life feeling like we're supposed to have every answer, every plan, and every step set in stone, whether it's career decisions, relationships, or personal goals. The pressure to have it all figured out can feel overwhelming, but this pressure doesn't come from our inner wisdom. It's often shaped by comparison, expectations, and fear. Recognizing this opens the door to a gentler, more authentic way of navigating life. Now, I have always had a wide range of interests and have had trouble figuring out my career goals. However, I realize I don't have to settle into one career. I can try things out and make decisions that are best for me and my family. With that said, I've been in my full time role for 8 years and have worked for the same state for 15 years. But I also explore other things such as real estate, owning my own transaction coordinator business, and there are still more things to come. I am a planner girly and I love having things written down, so I'm going to design my own planner one day. The world really is our oyster, and we can truly try various things to see what brings you happiness. It doesn't have to be figured out. I recently read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and it was quoted that most people don't even find their true passion and make their big bucks until they're in their 40s to 50s. That just proved that nothing has to be figured out, especially when it comes to work. Now, as humans, naturally we seek certainty because it gives us a sense of safety. Knowing the plan makes us feel like we're moving forward and towards something stable and predictable. But in reality, life rarely unfolds in a straight line. Our craving for certainty is less about clarity and more about trying to avoid discomfort. The more we understand this, the easier it becomes to loosen the grip. Now, while speaking of career, I have not let go of my full time job, nor do I plan to indulge in my other interests. The first is the uncertainty of paying bills, and that is a non negotiable. Now, if my interests become so expansive that it makes sense to complete my journey with my full time job, then that is a bridge that I will cross when I get there, and we are nowhere near that bridge right now. In fact, we can't even see it. Holding tightly to that belief that we must know every detail before moving forward creates tension mentally, emotionally, and even physically. And that's why I choose to stay in my job. I love it and it is steady, and I'm still allowed to do the other things that I enjoy. However, over planning leads to burnout, overthinking leads to paralysis, and perfectionism leads to missed opportunities. When we insist on knowing exactly how things will unfold, we unintentionally shrink our world. When we strive for perfection, which I'm guilty of, I think we ultimately lose focus on the bigger picture. I know, like I said, I struggle with this. This is something I personally struggle with. I want everything to go right, be perfect. But when I focus on that, I find I'm not present and not enjoying the journey. We are humans and humans make mistakes. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to start at a point and then move to point A, move to point D, and make our way back to point A to change things. That's the beautiful thing about life. It is a journey and we are all navigating it together. Now, letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means creating space. When we stop demanding certainty, we become more open to inspiration, intuitive nudges, and unexpected opportunities. Clarity often arrives not because we force it, but because we finally create room for it to come naturally. Honestly, I let go of schooling and it opened up an entire new world of self development for me. It has allowed me to grow in ways that I didn't know was possible. Although I am still a grumpy goose at times, I do think I am a more positive person. I'm learning to relax more and take each day at a time. Learning to release the need for control is a practice. It's not a switch. Small steps like pausing for reacting before reacting, setting flexible goals, or allowing space in your schedule create meaningful change. Journaling, breath work, or talking with people who encourage ease can also help you stay grounded when uncertainty creeps in. I've said it once and I will say it again. I'm a huge proponent of breath work, stepping outside and grounding myself and journaling. I also really believe in gratitude, and gratitude helps change your perspective when you really take the time to be grateful. When we stop chasing a perfect roadmap, we start embracing the real journey. Growth happens in the pauses, pivots, and surprising turns, not in the illusion of a flawless plan. Releasing the need to have everything figured out gives you permission to live, learn, and evolve at your own natural pace. Funny fact, when we decided to buy our home, the home we put under contract is not the home I'm writing or recording this in right this moment. It turns out that the individuals who had the home under contract before us never signed the release, and they were able to find the funds to close on that house. It's the same floor plan as the house I'm currently living in, but to be honest with you, I was devastated. We went under contract for another house in the same neighborhood, but it was a different floor plan, one that I didn't love, but I was fine with. I was sad because the floor plan that I fell in love with was completely out of stock. They were not building anymore. Approximately 2 weeks later, the house we live in became available because the person withdrew themselves from the contract. We verified that they signed the release, like we were not doing this again. Not only did we get the floor plan that I fell in love with, we ended up with a much bigger yard. It was a win for all. I had to let go of the need to control the process, and everything fell into place. This house has truly been a blessing for me and my family. So, you don't need to have everything figured out to move forward. You just need willingness, curiosity, and self trust, and some tears along the way, perhaps. When you give yourself permission to not know, you step into a life that's more aligned, more peaceful, and more authentically yours. Letting go isn't a failure, it's freedom. Now, today's positive affirmation is I have the courage it takes to try something new. I hope you all have a great day.